All States Australia Acts Request Act 1985. Police. The boys in blue are there no more. The police force went from a respected honourable job to a purported police, mercenary service and used as extortion, protection racket for political parties and their corruption. All States Australia Acts Request Act 1985. Police. Respected police force of our Queensland, always remember our primary law, Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act 1901 as proclaimed and gazetted, together with Queensland's Constitution Act 1867. These two constitutions gives us every right known to mankind. Our Queensland police force was respected while working within the above two constitutions. So the picture, when did protect and serve become treason from within, political party mercenaries for the state, comply or die?
This is their attitude today, though, with the police force. Do as I say or look out.
True.
And they've got no crown or constitutional authority. All they've got is the power of an individual passed on to them by the executive government.
So just following orders.
Yeah.
Political parties are not within the above constitutions. So under their treasonous system we have no rights and own nothing, which equals treason. Part 2. The Senate. 7. The Senate. The Senate shall be composed of senators for each state, directly chosen by the people of the state, voting until the Parliament otherwise provides as one electorate, not by political parties.
This system of one electorate is a very major system within our Commonwealth Australia Constitution Act. It dictates that the senators of the state represent the state. They don't represent the people, they represent the whole of the state, not by political parties. They just represent the state, not this bullshit we've got today.
Part 3. The House of Representatives. 24. Constitution of House of Representatives. The House of Representatives shall be composed of members directly chosen by the people of the Commonwealth, and the number of such members shall be, as nearly as practicable, twice the number of the senators, not by political parties.
These clowns call themselves MPs. They're telling you to your face that they're not within our Commonwealth Australia Constitution Act. If they were in our Commonwealth Australia Constitution Act or in the state constitutions, they would be House of Representatives or members of the House of Representatives, which is MHR, or if in a state it would be the House, I've forgotten what it is now.
Member of Legislative Assembly.
Members of Legislative Assembly. So you'd be members of MLAs. So, being MAs, in a sense, they're just telling us to our face that they're not within our Commonwealth Australia Constitution Act or our state constitution.
Australia Acts Request Act 1985. An act to enable the constitutional arrangements affecting the Commonwealth and the states to be brought into conformity with the status of the Commonwealth of Australia as a sovereign, independent and federal nation. Assented to 16th of October 1985. The question must be asked, when was the referendum to create the status of the Commonwealth of Australia as a sovereign, independent and federal nation? The Oxford Dictionary. Status is a noun, the official classification given to a country. Conformity. Noun, compliance with conventions, rules or law. By using the word status, the treasonous political parties are enforcing the definition of their Commonwealth of Australia. By using the word conformity, the treasonous political parties are telling us they are not under our primary law, Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act 1901 as proclaimed and gazetted, or our Queensland Constitution Act 1867. Our preamble has the words have agreed to unite in one indissoluble federal Commonwealth under the Crown of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland, and under the Constitution hereby established. These treasonous political parties have enacted their Australia Acts Request Act 1985 in the pretence that it had and has Crown authority, royal assent. Therefore, political parties have the knowledge of treason that they created and are enforcing their brand of treason. This purported Australia Acts Request Act 1985 has removed all Crown and constitutional authority and assets from the people to the political parties. This purported Australia Acts Request Act 1985 has removed all Crown and constitutional authority from all federal and state police. Therefore, the police are now mercenaries and pedophile protectors. They wear a uniform, armed, and work for a foreign entity, Queensland as a sovereign, independent and federal nation. These mercenaries and pedophile protectors are now enforcing political party treason. Facts. Members of political parties, each under their own party's constitution and policies, have deceived us and our constitutional sovereign and monarch by creating, under a progressive evolutionary process, corporations that control all entities inside parliaments, governments and courts of Australia, with no separation of powers and with purported Governor-Generals and Governors under their control also. Mercenary Service for the State, which has their fraudulent copy of the seal of Queensland's public functionary seal, no Crown and constitutional authority. All appointed under this seal have sold their souls, their family, and sold out our country. Their seal of treason. This public seal of the state was created by and for the treasonous political parties in their act that had their corporation seal and copyrighted to them. This seal has been in use since 1991, when the treasonous political parties were running two sets of books to get their treason through the back door. Their Seal Creation Act, Statute Law, Miscellaneous Provisions, number 81 of 1997. This seal was created after the treasonous political parties were running two sets of books in 1991, bringing their treason forward. And Mr. Beattie, Queensland is a constitutional monarchy with the Queen as head of state, and the Governor is the Queen's representative in Queensland. The Queen must personally sign the Governor's document of appointment, and this document, the Governor's Commission, is sealed with the public seal of the state. The above statement alone proves treason. A seal is a device that leaves an impression on paper and provides a mark of authenticity on certain official instruments. The public seal of the state is the seal that demonstrates the sovereign's authority in Queensland. Examples of documents that the Governor seals with the public seal of the state include commissions appointing members of the judiciary, deputy governors, ministers and executive councillors, as well as various types of proclamations. At present, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II is the Queen of Australia. All members of the Police Mercenary Service of the state swear their oath to the abstract Queen of Australia. Police, mercenaries, remember, while you screw the people, you screw yourselves as well, which makes you lot bloody idiots. Mercenary Service for the State. Constitutional Commission 1988. Proposed alteration to the Constitution. Bill number 1. An Act to alter the Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act by omitting obsolete words and so as to recognise the Queen of Australia. being enacted by the Parliament of the Commonwealth of Australia with the approval of the electors as required by the Constitution as follows. Notice, to do this they needed the approval of the electors, which equals a referendum.
All this was done in 1988. Whitlam was a major signatory to this. He was the one who created the seal Queen of Australia in 1973, and here he throws them all under the bus because he tells you straight we need a referendum by the approval of the electors. And we're still using the Queen of Australia today.
So, Bill number 2. An Act to alter the Constitution so as to require senators and members of the House of Representatives to take oaths or affirmations of allegiance to the Queen of Australia, being enacted by the Parliament of the Commonwealth of Australia with the approval of the electors as required by the Constitution as follows. Notice, to do this they needed the approval of the electors, which equals referendum. There are 44 bills like these two that have not been passed. The treasonous political parties are still trying to get the Queen of Australia recognised, as they have been using Queen of Australia since 1973. Police Service Administration Act 1990. Part 4. Commissioner of the Queensland Police Service. 4.3. Conditions of appointment. 1. The conditions on which an appointment as Commissioner is held from time to time, b. are to be governed by a contract of employment made or taken to be made between the Crown and the Commissioner. 5.11. Conditions of employment of police recruits. 1. The conditions of employment of a police recruit from time to time, b. are to be governed by a contract of employment made or taken to be made between the Crown and the recruit. Crown in this Act is the executive government of the state. 11.2. Transition of members of police force. 1. On the appointed day, every person who is then a member of the police force within the meaning of the Police Act 1937 to 1989. b. A member who is of a rank or in a position such that the member's employment at a corresponding rank or in a corresponding position in the police service must be on the basis of a contract, becomes an officer.
In this system here, they've changed the police force to a police service, which is a major thing. The police force, the first force comes from the Crown. It gives the lawful policeman the right to stop and detain. Now we've gone to a police service because all these bastards are today is a service to the corporations, political parties. Their service is for to enforce their so-called laws over the people, and in this system their service is to screw us to get more money for their coffers. It's just these policemen, you can't call them that, they're just straight up mercenaries, thugs, pigs, whatever you want to call them. And if you go back in time with when we had a police force, that we referred to them as the members of the boys in blue. Today they've changed the uniforms. Then when we have respect for those men and women, today they're just pieces of utter shit.
So at present, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II is the Queen of Australia, and you so-called police swear your oath to this abstract entity. What does that make you lot? Please read, as like the people, All this is done behind your backs as well as our backs. You are being used to help enforce treason. Our Queensland is an original state as established under our primary law, Commonwealth of Australia, Constitution Act 1901 as proclaimed and gazetted. The treasonous political party's Queensland status is under the sovereign, independent and federal nation in a geographical sense. This document has transferred the guilt of knowledge of treason to you, the purported Queensland police, mercenaries, and to your heirs and successors. To the so-called police, mercenaries, you have sold your souls. All the police, mercenaries, have sold out our country, your own families, all for your own gain. When we get our Crown Courts with loyal judiciary within, under common law of England, where all are accountable, people will be asking that court to charge you with treason as shown on pages 7. Also under our Criminal Code Act 1899, or punishment in special cases as shown on page below. We wish not to do the above, so please read and help us. So, we've got the Criminal Code Act of 1899. Be it enacted by the Queen's Most Excellent Majesty, by and with the advice and consent of the Legislative Assembly of Queensland, in Parliament assembled, and by the authority of the same, as follows. Punishment in special cases. Public seals, etc. 1. If the thing forged, A, purports to be or is intended by the offender to be understood to be or to be used as the Great Seal of the United Kingdom or of Queensland, or Her Majesty's Privy Seal, or any privy signet of Her Majesty, or Her Majesty's Royal Sign Manual, or the seal of the Governor, or any public seal lawfully appointed to be used for authenticating an act of state in any part of Her Majesty's dominions, or B, is a document having on it or affixed to it any such seal, signet, or sign manual, or anything which purports to be or is intended by the offender to be understood to be any such seal, signet, or sign manual, the offender is liable to imprisonment with hard labour for life. So remember, we went from this Parliament of Queensland, by the people, for the people, to this traitor that stands in front of a treasonous flag, to this treason, Queensland Parliament. Alright, the Criminal Code Act of 1899, number 63, Victoria, number 9, Part 11, Offences Against Public Order, Chapter 6, Treason and Other Offences Against the Sovereign's Person and Authority, Treason. 37. Any person who 5. Levies war against the Sovereign, A, with intent to depose the Sovereign from the style and title, honour and royal name of the Imperial Crown of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland, or of any other of Her Majesty's dominions, or...
Just while we're going through this definition of sovereign is it's under our seal with Crown authority. This is under the Imperial Crown. It's our sovereign, not what they've turned around and changed the definition to being the Queen of Australia. This is our sovereign.
So B, in order by force or constraint to compel the sovereign to change her measures or cancels, or in order to put any force or constraint upon, or in order to intimidate or overawe any House of Parliament of any of Her Majesty's dominions. 6. Conspires with any other person to levy war against the Sovereign with any such intent or purpose as last aforesaid. 7. Instigates any foreigner to make an armed invasion of any part of Her Majesty's dominions. Or 8. assists by any means whatever any public enemy at war with the sovereign, is guilty of a crime which is called treason, and is liable to imprisonment with hard labour for life, which cannot be mitigated or varied under Section 19 of this Code. Prime Minister and State Premiers conspired between each other on 2 occasions to join with the political parties Commonwealth of Australia Republic as a sovereign, independent and federal nation with no crown and constitutional authority to the political parties' benefit. The political parties used their private Australian courts to enforce their conspiracy. There was no referendum. This was enacted behind our backs, whereas the people of, and it states each state. Oxford Dictionary, conspire.
Keep going.
Verb, make secret plans jointly to commit an unlawful or harmful act.
Now, under our Commonwealth, our State Crimes Act, if we could just bring that down a bit. I was helping a lady up in North Queensland, and she put a lot of the documents on the council, their extortion rackets. She put them to the councillors, and then she asked, could she speak at one of the council meetings, and they gave her a quarter of an hour. She turned around and asked the councillors what they were going to do with the fact that they were sitting in treason. The CEO of the council piped up and said that we have removed treason from the criminal code. So he turned around, and that's what they have done. They have removed this section of treason out of the criminal code. So he's turned around, and now he's of knowledge of the treason that was created by the political parties for removing, because treason is the protection of our Queen, the sovereign, our sovereign. And by saying this in the meeting, he then also put all the councillors under treason, because he said it all in front of them. And let's face it, the CEO is the boss. So he's turned around and put the whole, this is in Tully, the whole council there sits in treason and of knowledge of treason, which makes it damn side worse.
Alright. So here we've got our royal seal with our primary law, Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act 1901 as proclaimed and gazetted. Part 5, Powers of the Parliament. 51. Legislative powers of the Parliament. The Parliament shall, subject to this Constitution, have power to make laws for the peace, order and good government of the Commonwealth with respect to.
Now, when you take that, what they've said there, subject to this Constitution, the Parliament, Commonwealth Parliament has the power to make laws for the peace, order and good government of the Commonwealth. Now, that is a common law of England contract, because that's how laws are made under that system. That gives us every right known to mankind. And the 3 little words at the end there, with respect to, are very, very important little words. That means they can't get outside that system. They are bound to it. And when you go and read into the annotated constitution, it dictates, if they're not granted that authority, they don't have it. So it's a very simple system, but it gives us every right known to mankind.
So number 6, the naval and military defence of the Commonwealth and of the several states, and the control of the forces to execute and maintain the laws of the Commonwealth.
That saying there just tells you that all in uniform are for the protection of the laws of the Commonwealth. That's all the military, whether it's Navy, whatever it is, the whole lot of them, and the forces, that is the forces of the state police. See, when they turned around and created the Federal Police Act of 1997, the first thing they did in that was to remove the Commonwealth police. So they've turned around and created their own forces against the Commonwealth of Australia in that system. But our original forces are for the protection and maintenance of the laws of the Commonwealth.
So, if police are really here to protect us, the entire government would be in prison. How true is that? All this was done behind the backs of the federal and state forces.